All right. Hello. Oh, hi, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. This chat works. Okay. So I got a little nervous because I couldn't find how to go live. And I'm really glad I did. So this is good. I'm a little bit early. So let me just test. Okay, wonderful. Alrighty. Give people a few minutes to come on. I'll be right back. All right. I will give people a couple more minutes. It's not even 7 o'clock. So if you're here, I would love to know your name if you're comfortable. If not, you can just say where you're calling from. I'm going to type in the chat because I'm really loving this feature. I'm in Florida. If you're here, I would love to know your name if you're comfortable. So fun. I hope everybody has had a good week. Today is Wednesday. And I can't believe March is almost over, which is so insane. Sorry. I hope this light is not too in the way. We had some construction, so there's a little mess on this side. All right. Okay, so I will be sharing, I'm just going to do a small presentation. Again, I'm going to give people a little bit more time, maybe like 5-10 minutes. Just, I know it's a busy time. I do want to honor and I do want to respect your time. Like I said, I do have a presentation that I will be doing about why kids are hungry all the time. And I'm a mom as well, so I will touch on that. And I do struggle with that as well. This video will also be saved on my YouTube channel. So if there's something, or if you want to take notes, even better. You can always just go back. I just don't remember how long it takes for it to upload to the channel. Again, this is new to me. So funny story, the first video that I did, I put that kids were allowed and I couldn't have the live chat. So like see, um, I have the live chat enabled and I got so nervous like before now. I was like, oh my gosh, like how do I launch it? I literally had to open Chat GPT and that helped me realize that I um I did it wrong. So this is a major learning process for me. I am not like super tech savvy, but needless to say, I'm here. We have a live chat feature opened, and I do encourage kids to hop on and ask questions because I think this is very important for them to be involved in their care and in their health. Also, it's very important for that, in my opinion, as a nurse and a holistic nutrition practitioner. Um, so there's a couple people here. I'll just go ahead and do a brief introduction. If you don't know me, my name is Christina. I am a mom of two boys. I'm a duck mom, a chicken mom. I have a dog. I'm married, and I've been a registered nurse for almost, I think, 18 years now. My health journey started when my oldest had bad eczema and I got the runaround that most people get, putting creams, and I decided I that's not good enough. So that's when I really started to make a deep dive into like literally everything. Like we have changed everything over the years. My oldest is now 16. And I think that for all of us, we do start on a journey. There is something that happens in our lives that propels us to want to know more. And there's just a lot of things that I had to learn on my own. And being a nurse, yes, we get a lot of knowledge, but we just don't get knowledge on how the body works and how it functions. It's more just aligned with Western medicine care. So that just really kind of skyrocketed into me living a more holistic, balanced lifestyle, me teaching my kids that information. Then I went back to school for nutritional therapy almost 2 years ago. So that was great. I mean, it was just such an amazing program. And that is when I started my business called Cheers to Health. I am a huge advocate to give you whatever you guys need. So if there's something that you guys want me to dive in on topic, I am more than happy to do that. I will be having a masterclass once a month. It's going to be on different topics that we as families kind of struggle with and to bring more awareness to. Last week was about food labels. This now is about kids being hungry all the time because I feel like I just hear that all the time. And I'm sure you do too. Just very big in my community and just however I can serve you guys. I'm not the type of person that, oh, well, I don't want to message her. Like, please message me. If you see me, just come up to me and ask me a question. I am more than happy to do that for you guys. It is an honor. It is a privilege. It's just really incredible to, really see families make changes, especially when it comes to the health of their kids. I'm very passionate about that. Our kids are the next generation of people. So that's a little bit about me. And again, I'm just so excited to be here with you guys. So let's go ahead and start. I do need to share my screen with you guys. So give me 1 second. Okay. All right. Let me share this here. Okay. Okay. So you guys should be able to see my screen here now that I'm small. So again, this series is called Help My Kids Are Always Hungry. Oh, sorry. Let me just make sure. Because sometimes people will text me like randomly about things. Okay. Okay, so Help My Kids Are Always Hungry. Who here hears this all the time? Me included. Yes, raise your hand. Yes, all the time. And you're like, I just fed you. Why are you hungry? So let's answer that question. Let's dive in. All right. So these are just some bullet points that we are going to cover. So we're going to cover stress. We're going to cover boredom because your kids are going to tell you that they're bored. We're going to cover emotional distress, sleep habits, and just not enough fats, proteins, and carbs, our macronutrients. And the reason why I'm highlighting these is it doesn't click too much for us as far as when it comes to stress, what that stress does to us, why are kids bored, what can we do about that emotional distress, what's going on internally with our kids, sleep habits, what time are your kids going to bed, what time are they waking up, how are they going to bed, are they on a tablet, are they reading a book, not enough fats, protein, carbs, what are you feeding them in the morning? So there's a little bullet points that we're going to do. Okay, so stress. Stress is something that we don't want to underestimate the power of. A little back story on me. I did work in a facility with pediatric mental health, and 98% of these kids were stressed, and they barely ate anything. Stress is silent. You're not going to see it. I look the way I am right now, but I was stressed like 10 minutes ago because I couldn't find the Go Live page. But I'm like, okay, it's okay, Christina, relax. We physically can see stress, right? If we're really good or your kids don't want to worry you, which a lot of kids tend to do that, they don't want to startle their parents, they're gonna hide it. And they're gonna put on a facade like everything's okay when inside their body is not. So, and also, kids handle stress very differently. Maybe some are going to want to snack more. They're not going to want to eat. They're not sleeping. They're not doing good in school. Their grades are falling apart. The way that we respond to stress, our kids are going to see that. So, are you a nervous Nelly? Do you hide your stress? Do you just explode when you can't deal anymore? So, we also, to parents, we have to remember that we are modeling the behaviors for our kids because our job as parents is to show them how to handle life when we have tidal waves thrown at us and to be cognizant of, oh man, I did this, my child is not picking up the habits. So that's just something I encourage you guys to just really pay attention to. Stress is not specific. The body cannot differentiate. And what I mean by that is, let's say your kid got hurt or somebody picked on them in school. That's an internal stress factor for them. Our insides of our bodies don't know, they can't differentiate, oh, she got bullied or she got an F on her test. Stress is stress inside our body. So it's just going to go all over the place and it's just going to be very hectic in there. So please understand that having, open communication with your children is also important when it does come to stress and how we handle stress as well. It does have a very big effect on our bodies, and I'm sure you guys can also relate and you guys can also identify when you're stressed out as a parent or as an adult, right? Stress can be emotional, it can be physical, maybe, they broke their arm and it hurts. It can be mental, and it really does send our body on an internal roller coaster. So kids are not hungry when they're stressed. Think about it. When you have a deadline, you got in a fight with your husband, you're worried about your kid's game. Are you hungry? And the answer is going to be no. The reason why is because digestion, it there is so much work involved when we have to break down food. We have to have saliva, we have to have stomach acid, everything just has to work. So when the body is stressed, digestion, like this is stress, digestion comes here, and hunger is going to be way down on the totem pole because at this point, the body is just trying to keep up inside. So if you are going through a stressful time, it could be a divorce. It could be a death in the family. It could be a move that has caused your kids to be stressed out. I really do encourage you guys to pay attention to that. In our family, my dad died a few months ago, and that has been a stressor for my kids, for myself. So we've had open dialogue about it. At times, if they're not hungry, please don't force them to eat a snack or even a meal because they're going to take 2 bites and be totally turned off by it. and we want to honor what is happening in their body and just not add any more stress on their body. So if you're stressed out that they're not eating, let's find out why. What's going on in school? What's going on in home? What's going on in their friend circle? Social media is another big stressor for teens and for young children. Constantly comparing themselves, a lot of peer pressure is happening. So, again, really paying attention to that stress factor is really another reason why they're hungry and why they're not hungry. They just really play hand in hand. And then also, if the body's under stress, it can cause food sensitivities. And then we have this lining in our gut. It should be like this, but if we have leaky opening points, that's when food can leak out and could cause sensitivities if our food is not properly digested. Or sometimes kids are going to go to food to make them feel better, the constant snacking. So at that point, it's saying, okay, if we're dealing with a stressful situation, let's, kind of divert their minds and asking if they're really hungry or if they're just trying to fill a void. And that can turn into emotional eating for adults. A lot of people that I do see, they tend to go to food when they're doing an emotional issue, right? Or if they're stressed out. But oftentimes that food is going to be processed food. It's going to be junk food. That's not going to serve our bodies well at all. Uh, the old adage, I'm bored. I remember my sister used to say this. I hope she's not mad at me for saying that. So if they're bored, they're gonna, if you think about it, when we watch TV, we get a snack. I used to love to grab, what is it? It's like a kettle and corn. It's a sweet popcorn, and this was like years ago. And I will tell you, I could literally eat half of the bag if I let myself, because we're just mindlessly eating, right? We're just filling voids. How easy is it to go through a bag of chips? How easy is it just to reach for like a bar of candy? Okay, I'll have more. Ways that we can, again, this is where I said, okay, are you really hungry, or do you need an activity to do? So to get the mindless snacking out of the way, let's keep our kids active. You can take them outside. They can ride their bikes. You guys can go for a family walk after dinner. Again, like I said, this will limit the mindless snacking, which the mindless snacking is usually the processed foods, the chips, Swiss rolls, yogurts that have a lot of sugar in them. So just really paying attention to that. We want to regulate their hunger, and we want to regulate their hormones. Sorry, I did a little typo there. So we want them to get to know that our bodies should be telling us that we're hungry. Oh, sorry, no, that is right. To regulate, so we have a hunger hormone that tells us, "Ooh, I'm hungry." Then we also have a hormone that tells us we're full. So we want, again, hormones is not just for reproductive. We have hormones, we have cortisol, we have melatonin. I mean, there's so many hormones. So we want to make sure their hunger hormones are in communication with each other. And that's going to be really important because, like I said, we are laying the foundation of their health. And we also want to limit screen time. And I get it, your kids are bored, but that screen has a lot of blue light, which is very stimulating to their brains. And it's almost like a dopamine hit. They just want to just be fulfilled with something. So, if they go to bed on a tablet, I really would shift that to keep it more towards the daytime, because we want to start winding their bodies down. And maybe just keeping the screen time maybe for just a couple hours on the weekend. So we do really want to make sure, if you, depending where you are, you can find a kids gym that has kids classes. I've seen yoga places that have yoga classes for kids. Couple of gyms near me have schools for homeschool kids. They have classes for like 8 to 13 years old. So there is so many avenues. And if you're on a budget, you guys can buy some dumbbells and start working out together and just making it a family thing. So that way nobody's bored together, sitting on the couch and being sanitary. We definitely want to keep our bodies active. And if you think about it, Like I said, we lay the foundation, but also we're helping their joints so we're not aging so quickly. So like let's say I'm 41. I don't want to feel like I'm 61. I feel, my age or younger just cuz I'm active. And I also, do that for my kids too. So emotional distress is, like I said, it's silent. It's also related to stress, and everything that I'm going to be saying, I really like to bring it full circle because everything affects everything. It's a domino effect. It's not that one part is helping the other, and everything affects each other. So we also really need to be mindful of that. These bullet points go together. They really do. Um, and like I said, no one can see it, no one can see, but the child feels it. The child feels the stress. They're not sleeping. You may notice that they're not eating. That's why it's really important to pay attention to what's going on. Hey, kids, how was school today? Is anybody being mean to you? Are you happy? Maybe you just moved somewhere and they're having a difficult adjustment. Getting them involved in a sport, having them make friends. Middle school, I would say, is a very formidable time. I would say it's one of the difficult ones to parent just because they are going through a massive change, massive hormones. They're just a little bit more rebellious. So, just really, again, having open conversation. And I said they're going to ask for lots of sweets and they're going to ask for foods with lots of sugar. So, let's again redirect that. Maybe have an apple with almond butter or organic peanut butter, and again teaching them to recognize, hey, when you're stressed out or if you got in a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend, you're wanting to reach for the snack, let's go for a walk and let's talk it out. Emotions that are buried can fester into our organs, which can lead to disease, and that can stress our internal organs. I really didn't believe this, what I just said about emotions and how it affects our health, but it really does. There's actually been some articles linking emotional trauma to cancers and to other disease processes. So if you know your child has gone through something, talk to them, sit down, have a conversation. I know these conversations are not easy. I have had to have conversations with my kids. It is probably one of the most difficult things about parenting, but we're raising kids and to hopefully teach them that life is going to happen. And what are we going to do when it happens? How are we going to pick ourselves up? Like I said, they might skip meals. I have seen kids and heard kids tell me, I don't eat all day. Like literally, they don't eat all day and they have dinner. Now, a lot of middle schoolers, I've seen some kids young as like 10, they do vape. So, again, having conversations about what certain habits and how that can affect our health. Your kids are still growing, their brains are still forming. And honesty is the best policy because then at that point, they're going to want to go to you to have conversations rather than social media or a friend that you may not know too well. So, emotional distress, the body again is not going to prioritize hunger or the opposite. They're going to just want to be snacking a lot. So, recognizing those cues with your kids is going to be very helpful. Sleep is probably, I think, one of the most underrated and underappreciated parts about our health. Mm, when we're sleeping, it is the body's way of resting and preparing for the next day. So, for example, I did Pilates this morning. We had some meet. I had work. We went to the grocery store. I had a meeting. And my body is just going like, I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to do today? The kids, the same thing. They wake up, they go to school, they have homework to do. Maybe they're getting bullied in school. And, excuse me, um, they just didn't eat or they overate or they switched foods at lunchtime with their friends because that happens. And our gut also restores for the next day. So if they're properly sleeping, it's going to help regulate those appetite hormones. Ghrelin is our hunger hormone, like I mentioned a little bit ago, and leptin is our hormone that says we're full. So ensuring your kids are sleeping, I cannot stress this like so much that It's going to help their digestion and going to help them regulate themselves because their body is able to be at rest. We need rest. But we live in such a fast-paced society that we're like, okay, let's go. Like, okay, we're running here, we're running there. I, as a parent, me and my husband, we made a conscious decision not to do travel sports because all of our weekends were gone. It's just too chaotic. Now, if that's for you, amazing. But I'm just giving an example of something that we decided, not to do. Um, Poor sleep quality again leads to poor food choices. You have to like, I'm just gonna grab this. I'm just gonna go to McDonald's because it's easy. Again, that's dead food that we're feeding ourselves. And not to mention, if you're not sleeping well, then there's a propriety to get sick a lot more. So sleep habits are, just so key for our young ones. And getting your kids on a routine is very important. We thrive on routine, they thrive on routine. If you guys don't have a routine, I really do encourage you guys to have one together. Your body will thank you, and so will your kids' bodies. So, again, it's going to help to regulate our digestive hormones, which will help to minimize that snacking. So, that way, we're eating nice, well balanced meals that is going to fuel them really well. This will also help with our mood, anxiety, which in turn will help with their digestion. You see how that came into play? I talked about stress, I talked about emotional stress, which can either make you snack or just make you not hungry at all. So if we get good sleep, we're up, then like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. My body is communicating with me, oh, Christina, you're hungry. I don't need to force myself to eat. If your kids are not hungry in the morning, then the mind and the gut just are not communicating. But there's ways, again, to get them in a sleep routine. Let's say you turn off the TV at 6 o'clock, or you have dinner not super late, and you read a book. I know a friend of mine was reading with her kids, and maybe you want to do a gratitude. Like, what are you grateful for today? If they had a stressful day, just thinking of gratitude will automatically reduce that stress that they have. I'm grateful for my house. If they're little, you can help them, give them ideas. And then, like I said, they will not be as sick if they sleep well. So, again, you see how this all works into play. This is just, again, so important. And sleep, again, is very underrated and not appreciated and just really taken for granted. And we think we're cool, like, oh my God, I got 4 hours of sleep. Well, your body is screaming on the inside, even though you can't see it. So, sleep habits are key for our young ones to help with their digestive system and to help regulate their hunger. All right, so we have proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. These are known as our macro thinking big nutrients. So I used to eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch as a child, and even when we got married, which was almost 20 years ago. And if we think about that, that is a dead food. A dead food meaning that that cereal is not providing your child with good fuel for their day. It's mainly sugar and enriched wheat, which that wheat mostly has glyphosates and pesticides sprayed on it. And then it's going to have these synthetic vitamins that they're going to add to the cereal. So I was in Publix today and I saw, I think it was Fruit Loops maybe. A box was, I think, almost $7 for cereal. Now, usually, if you pay attention going to the grocery store, those foods are going to be at the end cap, right? Or they'll have BOGO, some stuff on BOGO at the end cap. But those products are very colorful, they're animated, they're fun for the kids to look at. And that is why your child is going to, and not to mention all the sugar that is in that product. So, or if you're going to McDonald's, if you're going to Wendy's, Dunkin' Donuts, I used to get croissant sandwich with egg and bacon when I was in nursing school. I had zero clue as to how this was going to help, me out. So, really paying attention to what are you feeding your kids. If you're feeding them muffins, we're shooting our kids into already a sugar spike. And if they have ADD or ADHD, that's also going to cause them to be more jittery. So we really do want to pay attention to, are they having protein on their plate? Protein are building blocks for their tissues and organs, nerves, muscles, and more. There's like 50,000, uses for protein. It's insane. Then we have carbohydrates, which provide a quick source of fuel for the brain and muscles. Carbohydrates are good. This is blueberries right here. Blueberries are great. Oftentimes, again, it's either like a Pop Tart, which is fast, and that's why they're also not hungry, or they're hungry, excuse me. They are hungry shortly after they have a Pop Tart because there was no protein and there was no good fats in that Pop Tart or that cereal, because oftentimes kids are fed skim milk with their cereal instead of whole milk from organic grass-fed cows. That milk is kind of just water, very diluted. And fats are necessary. All these protein, fats, and carbs are very necessary for the foundation, the internal foundation of our kids, for their muscles, their bones. Fats help with hormone production. Like I just mentioned, hormones a couple slides back. It makes food taste really good, and it helps to keep us fuller longer. So, sometimes we'll do for breakfast some eggs. My oldest is not the biggest breakfast person, but he will do, sausage links. Today he had chips and guacamole. So you don't always have to do like a breakfast. You can do ground beef. We just tried a new bread called One Mighty Mill, and it's from stone ground wheats. That's organic, so there's no pesticides. We'll do like avocados, we'll do fruit. I always try to make sure there's a veggie so that way they're not snacking as much. So if your kids have a nice plate full of protein, fats, and carbs, you will see that they're not going to be as hungry. And the same, if you're packing their lunch, you can do like Applegate deli meat. You can do leftovers in a thermos. That's a really good idea as well. That way you're cooking a home cooked meal. Or you could build like these really cute in a little stainless steel bento box, like your own Lunchable, instead of buying the ultra processed Lunchables at the store. I've seen there's some good like Simple Mills has crackers. You can put some blueberries. You can put some raw cheese or organic cheese in there. You can put maybe just like some yogurt melts, in there as well, and kind of just get creative with what you're feeding them. They also sell at Costco these little individual things of guacamole, and you can pack some chips in a bag. Siete is a good brand. Late July makes organic chips. So those are just really kind of good ideas to help. Again, all of that, all having a really good plate is going to help minimize their hunger. Obviously, if they are going through a growth spurt, they're going to be hungry more frequently. But again, we have to pay attention to what they're eating, what we're feeding them when they go to a restaurant, and what are they ordering. Not to say, we're not perfect. I say that a lot on my Instagram. We don't eat perfect all the time, and that's okay. We are being conscious as to what we're feeding our kids, and I think is about intentionality as well. And the more intentional we are with ourselves, and the more we are going to see that with our kids too. So that is and again, this is a lot of stuff that I did not know. Oh, one woman starting bedtime. So like I said, if you have to go, no worries. This is gonna save. So and you can always message me. I am open. I will actually put in here my Instagram. If you are not following me, I do post a lot of, if I go to Costco, and if I just want to make sure that was typed right. And if I go to Sprouts, Walmart, I will do a video showing you guys what I buy my family. And again, the cheaper foods, like, your Lucky Charms, your Pop Tarts, your Lunchables, it's not giving your kids what they need. Again, that's why they're hungry. So if we invest in our food, we're investing in the health of our kids at the same time. So it is a give and take, 1,000%. Um, so that is the end of my presentation. And I didn't know if anybody had any questions. If not, let me see. I'll let you guys know really quickly my next. I haven't set a date for my next masterclass in March, but I definitely will tell you guys the topic. Ooh, this is going to be good. So the topic is going to be household cleaners and toxins in your home. Dun, dun, dun. We're going to dive into all the good stuff. And I'm going to give you guys good replacements for cleaning, for candles, for things that'll place Febreze. And yeah, so that is going to be the topic for next month, household cleaners. And you will definitely be getting some swap ideas. And again, if you're starting on this journey, that is a good place to start. But also, what is in your refrigerator is, I would probably say, the best place to start, because your pantry, your refrigerator, it is your medicine cabinet as well. It is giving you nutrients or a lack of nutrients. It can be causing your body to dysregulate and also your kid's body to dysregulate. So just being very mindful of your grocery cart. If you look at your grocery cart, you can kind of determine the health and state of your home and of yourself if you're just shopping for yourself. I was at Publix. I think this lady thought I was crazy. So I was buying organic strawberries, and I noticed that the organic raspberries were BOGO. And I see this mom next to me, and she had two kids. I'm like, hey, the organic raspberries are BOGO. And she kind of looked at me like, yeah. I was like, oh, there's no pesticides, it can, it's not like cancer. And she kind of just looked at me, and I don't think she bought them, but I do tell people that sometimes. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So again, pay attention to, you can even just do an audit and just track down what you're feeding your kids in the morning, and also for you as well. If you, as an adult, as a parent, find yourself hungry, what was on my plate today? Did I have enough protein? Did I have enough carbs? Did I have enough fats? What kind were they? Because quality is extremely important at the end of the day. Again, I do tell people, if you eat strawberries, invest in organic strawberries, because that's a part of the dirty dozen, and they are also sprayed with pesticides, like one of the highest ones. Oh, let's see. So we got that masterclass coming up. And really quick, if you are in Palm Coast, I am the co-founder, now founder of the Palm Coast Health Alliance that I formed with my dad. And our whole board group of people, we are doing the Tunnel to Towers 5K. It's April 18th. You can join our team. It's called Loving Life, because that is a saying that my dad would do. So we will love, it is a 5K. You can either walk or run. Me and my kids will be there. I plan on walking. You can do whatever, but this is another really good way for you guys to move, be together as a family. And let's see what else. You can just go on, like, Google search Tunnel to Towers Palm Coast, and it'll give you the link. Let's see. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I hope this was informative for you all. And if you're not, because there is always light at the end of the tunnel, and your kids will get full and they will not be bothering you so much. Now, if they're an athlete, that is also different. I did forget to say that. Bringing snacks after a game. My kids like the Chomps bars or the Paleo Valley bars. I'll bring them some like good crisp chips because they have endured a lot. My one of my kids plays lacrosse, so we'll kind of just do that if he wants a snack for after the game. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. If you haven't followed my channel, go ahead and give it a follow. I do need to get better about posting. These last couple of months I've been a little crazy with everything going on with my dad. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. I love serving you guys. Again, if there's any questions that you have about anything, just message me. Take care. Good night.